The guy who created the largest surveillance company in the world that basically wants to monitor everything you do, Peter Thiel, is showing up in the Epstein files yet again. So this time we've uncovered some pretty crazy things. He did end up hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. This is subsequent to the prior emails that were leaked back in August regarding Peter Thiel and his connection to Jeffrey Epstein, and also being set up to meet with Israel's former prime minister, Ehud Barak. So you might remember these previous emails here. This was back in 2014. These emails were being sent. This is coming from Ehud Barak, Israel's former prime minister, to Jeffrey Epstein. Jeff, this thanks. Peter Thiel could be very interesting, but I'm flying to Europe next time. This was prior in some email chats trying to coordinate them to hang out. Going to meet him tomorrow for dinner. This is coming again from Ehud Barak to Jeffrey Epstein. He asked me to bring another person. I don't know who or why. I've met him once 2 years ago. He probably doesn't even recall it. Let's see. I was told by the hosts of the dinner that we will probably spend time just talking about geopolitics. It's a first date. I think he has huge potential to accelerate things by the sheet regurgitation he got. No way, it's a waste of time. Thus, I'm going to do it, and we'll see. So this was emails already previously shown. Today, this email's been circulating on social media, and it's from Jeffrey Epstein to Peter Thiel. That was fun. See you in 3 weeks. So this is just one of the many emails of the 20,000 documents that were released. If you go through X right now, you'll see a lot more information on this and just some of the other documents. Here's another one. And I did see this one earlier today too when I was going through the Google Drive. From Peter Thiel to Jeffrey Epstein again. Are you enjoying LA? I liked your Trump exaggerations, not gonna lie. So this is what's so interesting and important to note is you have to understand the relationship between Peter Thiel and Jeffrey Epstein. While all of this was going on, this was back again in 2014, Jeffrey Epstein actually ended up having a large sum of money invested into one of Peter Thiel's companies. So let me go ahead and show you this link right here. This is another email that I previously had up regarding Peter Thiel. So here it is. Jeffrey Epstein invested with Peter Thiel and his estate is reaping millions. Mr. Epstein, the late financier and sex offender, started by putting $40 million into Valar Ventures, a firm backed by Mr. Thiel. Today, the investment is worth about $170 million. So this happened back in 2015 while they were having dialogue. They were having some sort of financial exchange and investing in each other. Jeffrey Epstein, the registered sex offender, met with many powerful people. One of those was Peter Thiel, the Silicon Valley billionaire. In 2015 and 2016, Mr. Epstein put $40 million into two funds managed by the New York firm that was co-founded by Mr. Thiel. That investment is worth nearly $170 million today. So they were having this sort of back and forth crosstalk while they were meeting. Keep in mind that when Peter Thiel was talking to Jeffrey Epstein, by that point, he was already a registered sex offender, which just makes things astronomically worse. The documents released today also include other names along with Elon Musk and Steve Bannon. We'll go into those a little bit later. Additionally, Epstein provided funding to Palantir indirectly through his networks, fueling speculation about Thiel's company benefiting from Epstein-linked capital from its AI and surveillance tools. Absolutely. So it kind of begs the question again, why do we have an Israeli prime minister wanting to meet so badly with the co-founder of Palantir? Well, it's pretty obvious. You have somebody that co-founded one of the largest surveillance companies wanting to meet with the largest surveillance state in the world that basically has a whole entire population of millions of people, Palestinians, that it could just it could just experiment all of this technology on. So what better sort of relationship to have there, and back and forth and crosstalk and connections. Thiel in love with the Antichrist. Yeah, that's another thing you might know. Peter Thiel is the guy who's obsessed with learning about the Antichrist. He actually set up an Antichrist seminar. He hosted it in San Francisco. He has this weird obsession with the Antichrist. At one point, he even called Greta Thunberg the Antichrist. So this is the sort of guy that has this odd relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. We can go through here a little bit more of the Of the tweets regarding this, the House just dropped Epstein docs showing Peter Thiel was scheduled for lunch with Epstein in 2017, years after he became a registered sex offender. When we say Epstein's friends are building your social credit score, we aren't exaggerating. This was back in September 26th again. Peter Thiel, the co-founder of the most dangerous mass surveillance company in the United States, wants you to believe he was meeting with Jeffrey Epstein from 2014 to 2017 for tax advice. Yeah, as we all know, that's just a bullshit. That's just a bullshit excuse. That clearly, definitely wasn't the case. So Peter Thiel exchanged emails with Epstein and was linked to ventures Epstein funded. Musk appears in Epstein's itineraries and files. These are not rumors; these are documented facts. And the article goes on. So, of course, as well, it's not just being shared on social media, but of course, the Times Magazine also reported on Peter Thiel showing up again in the Epstein files. However, as we know, mainstream media will do, they'll never ever mention Israel, even though Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel, is having text exchanges or email exchanges, with Jeffrey Epstein regarding Peter Thiel. But the Times doesn't want to share that. This is what they ended up putting an article on regarding this. Let me see if you guys can see this clearly here. Billionaire Peter Thiel, venture capitalist Peter Thiel, who reportedly met with Epstein several times in 2014, and whose name was among the Epstein records released in September, also appeared in the emails released on Wednesday. Epstein wrote to Peter Thiel in November of 2018, "I liked your Trump exaggerations, not going to lie. Are you enjoying LA?" Peter Thiel responded, "Can't complain thus far." Epstein then followed up with December, visit me in the Caribbean, Epstein's private island. A representative for Thiel told Politico that he never visited the island. Time reached out to Thiel via the Thiel Foundation for comment. We'll see. We'll see if anybody's going to end up verifying that fact of whether or not he actually ended up visiting the island. But regardless, they had a very close relationship. Obviously, Times just failing to ever mention Ehud Barak, but that was no surprise. So they had this sort of relationship, exchanging millions of dollars, investing it in different companies, working together, meeting with former Israeli prime ministers at the time. And while Epstein was conducting this large-scale trafficking operation to lure young children in, young women, young girls, to have sex but with powerful elites. So this was all going on, and of course, Peter Thiel was involved in some way with this individual. And then we can go through. I think there was another comment I wanted to show you guys here regarding this. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and share my screen one more time. Let me see. You guys should be able to see this now. There we go. Again, this was back in September. Peter Thiel was dining with Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein's conviction, after the world knew who he was. Are we just supposed to really believe this is just for tax advice? Basically, just give me a break. Hey, Joe Rogan, remember how Peter Thiel told you he met Jeffrey Epstein a few times in 2014 for tax advice? That was a stone cold lie. Epstein gave him $40 million to invest. They were still in contact in late 2017. Also ask Musk how his trip went to the island. And then here we see something released in the previous files in September that says tentative breakfast party with Bill Gates, invited, waiting for a reply. Elon Musk to island December 6th. Is this still happening? So although it said ask Elon how it was, we don't really know if he actually ended up going. That wasn't confirmed. Just it was only written. Peter Thiel confronted on Palantir Jeffrey Epstein. Let's see what he had to say here in this video.
Sir, or any of your connections. Mr. Thiel, do you have any comments about Palantir's surveillance of the American people, sir? Or any of your connections to Jeffrey Epstein? I think people are rather concerned about that last particular one. You're setting up a Big Brother surveillance system, and people know it, sir. Do you think the American people want this surveillance tech being used against them?
Crazy. Doesn't say a word.
Any comments at all on the Epstein connections? You were meeting with them.
forward a bit. I don't want to see him just walking for 2 minutes.
Wow, Peter Thiel
Honestly, this, I know he's not, but this dude even looks like Ehud Barak.
was booking it. That man picked up the pace. The second the word Epstein came out, it seemed he started getting a little faster.
So there we have it. Of course, they're not going to say anything, but pretty crazy. We'll see how things develop moving forward. Obviously, we know the Trump administration is having a meltdown right now over the release of these files. If you guys found this video interesting, again, make sure to click the subscribe button below, and I will see you